Have you ever felt like your life is spinning out of control? Like you're facing one challenge after another and you're wondering, why me? What if I told you that these tough moments could actually be signs that God is testing your faith? In today's video, we're diving into 5 powerful signs that God is shaping you through these trials. Stick around, because understanding these signs might just change how you see your struggles. Let's start with something many of us can relate to: unanswered prayers. You've been praying for something, maybe healing, a breakthrough, or even guidance, and it feels like there's just silence from above. You start wondering, is God even listening? But here's the thing. When it seems like God is silent, it doesn't mean He's absent. Sometimes unanswered prayers are His way of testing our patience and trust in His timing. God wants to see if we believe that His plan is better than ours. Faith isn't just about trusting when things go our way. It's about believing, even when we don't see the results immediately. But here's the truth. God's silence doesn't mean He's ignoring you. Sometimes what feels like an unanswered prayer is actually God testing your patience and trust. He might be teaching you to rely on His timing, not your own. You see, faith isn't just believing when things go right. It's about holding on when things seem uncertain. So if you're in a season of waiting, it might just be a test of faith. Trust that God hears you and is working behind the scenes. Unexpected challenges. You're going about your life, doing everything right, and suddenly, life throws you a curveball. Maybe it's a financial setback, a job loss, or a health crisis. It feels like everything is falling apart. When these things happen, it's easy to think, why is this happening to me? But what if instead, these challenges are designed to strengthen your faith? Sometimes, God allows these storms not to punish us, but to refine us. It's like gold being purified in fire. It has to go through the heat to come out stronger and purer. It can feel overwhelming, but here's a thought. What if these unexpected challenges are actually tests of your faith? Sometimes God allows tough situations not to punish us, but to refine us. Think about it. Just like gold is purified by fire, our faith is strengthened when it's tested in life's challenges. It's easy to have faith when everything is going smoothly, but true faith is tested in the storms. When life throws you off course, God might be seeing if you'll continue to trust Him, even when things don't make sense. These challenges could be preparing you for something greater, making you stronger and more resilient in the long run. So if you're facing a challenge you didn't expect, it could be a sign that God is testing you, preparing you for something bigger. The question is, will you trust Him through the storm? Here's another big one: feeling isolated. Have you ever noticed that during some of your hardest times, people seem to disappear? Maybe friends don't check in like they used to, or you feel misunderstood by those closest to you. You might even feel like God Himself is far away. But remember, even Jesus felt alone in the Garden of Gethsemane. He asked His disciples to stay with Him, but they fell asleep. In those moments of isolation, God might be testing whether we will rely on Him fully, or if we'll look to people for answers. Feeling isolated can be one of the hardest challenges to face. But here's the thing, God might be using this time of isolation to strengthen your relationship with Him. When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, even His closest disciples fell asleep while He was in deep distress. He faced that moment alone, but it was all part of a bigger plan. Sometimes God removes the distractions around us so we can focus entirely on Him. When there's no one else to turn to, it forces us to rely on God in ways we might not have before. He's testing whether we'll seek Him and trust in His presence, even when we don't feel it or when we can't rely on anyone else. Faith isn't just about community support. It's also about learning to stand firm when you feel like you're standing alone. So if you're feeling isolated, remember, it could be a time where God is drawing you closer to Him, testing whether you'll lean on Him for strength. Have you ever felt like quitting? You're trying your best, but the journey feels too hard, and you start thinking, maybe this isn't worth it. This feeling of wanting to give up is actually one of the clearest signs God is testing your faith. Think about the story of Job. He lost everything: his family, his health, his wealth. But through it all, he refused to curse God. Instead, he remained faithful, and in the end, God restored everything and more. Here's what you need to know. When you're at the point where you want to give up, that's often when God is testing you the most. It's easy to keep going when things are smooth, but the real test of faith comes when everything in you is telling you to throw in the towel. This is where growth happens. Think about the story of Job in the Bible. He lost everything: his family, his health, his wealth. But through it all, he didn't turn his back on God. Even in his darkest moments, when it seemed like there was no reason to hold on, Job remained faithful. And in the end, God restored everything he lost and more. In moments when you're tempted to give up, ask yourself, is this a test? Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come right after our hardest battles. When you hold on, even when it feels impossible, that's when God shows up in the most powerful ways. God is calling you to step out of your comfort zone. Maybe you feel a nudge to do something you've never done before, like starting a new project, forgiving someone who hurt you, or taking a leap of faith in your career or relationships. Leaving our comfort zone can be terrifying, but it's often where God does His best work. Remember when Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water? It was risky, but it was also a moment of faith. God tests our faith by asking us to trust Him in areas that feel uncertain. God might be testing your faith by calling you to step into something unknown, something you can't fully control. He's asking you to trust Him with what comes next, even if it feels scary or uncertain. It's in these moments where we're stretched that our faith grows deeper and stronger. If you're being pulled in a direction that feels uncomfortable, it might just be God's way of testing your faith and growing you in ways you never imagined. When your prayers seem unanswered, when challenges show up, when you feel alone, when you're tempted to give up, or when you're being pushed out of your comfort zone, remember that these moments aren't meant to break you. They're meant to build your faith stronger than ever. If you're going through any of these right now, I want to encourage you to trust the process. God is working, even when we can't see it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that will uplift and inspire you on your faith journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed.